my channel? Welcome to Blackathon Day 6. Tomorrow is my last day of daily vlogging, and I'm sure y'all are getting sick of seeing this face in your upload every single morning, so I'm gonna try to do a lot of reading today, and to give you as many thoughts as I can. I woke up and still wasn't ready to return to the world of the Bells. I mentioned in my video yesterday that I'm not loving the sequel to the Bells as much as I would have hoped. The pacing is very off for me. The book opens up with Camellia being on the run from the palace, trying desperately to find a way to rescue her sisters that have been kidnapped and are being used for nefarious purposes. Remy, of course, is by her side as always, along with one of her sisters, Edel. I adore Edel so much just because even though she is not the most logical, critical of a thinker, she definitely has the will to get things done, and she doesn't allow anybody to disrespect her. I love Camellia and Edel's dynamic because they are so eerily similar, but I love that they still manage to keep each other balanced. Whenever Edel is going to do something dangerous, Camellia holds her back, and whenever Camellia is going to do something dangerous, Edel holds her back. The book also has this amazing theme of female anger and how important it can be. On the very first page, there's a note from John L. Clayton, and it says, "For all the angry girls, there is nothing wrong with you." That's amazing. I also picked up the 5th season again. I mentioned in, I think, my day 3 vlog that I was not loving this book. I got to page about 85 and I was just fucking lost, okay? And now that I've realized that there is a complete glossary of terms used in this book in the back of the novel and you're supposed to reference it, I'm enjoying it so much better now that I know exactly what's going on in the story. I know many of you have already read this book, so I'm gonna go into a quick synopsis. I went into this book completely blind and I'm figuring out what it's about as I read along. So from what I have gathered, the story is about Nasun, who is a mother to... So I have to do a quick correction because Nasun is the daughter and Esun is the mother. So I messed that up, my bad. 2 beautiful children. She has a son named Uche and a daughter whose name I can't remember, and she is an origine. An origine is a person who is capable of controlling the elements of the earth. Essentially, whenever she's endangered, she can pull power from the earth itself and then harness it to do her bidding. In this world, origines are forbidden. Usually they are weeded out of the society as children and taken away, presumably to be killed. Nasun has gotten a brilliant handle of her emotions her whole life in order to hide who and what she is. But one day she comes home and finds her son Uche dead on the floor, her daughter missing, and her husband Jajia gone. It turns out that Uche has powers that have manifested, and in a fit of disgust and rage, his father Jajia beat him to death and escapes with their daughter. Now Nasun has no idea if Jajia has taken her daughter and killed her as well, or if her daughter is still alive. So she sets off on a quest to uncover the truth and to kill her damn husband. We also get the perspective of a small child, I can't remember her name, I think her name is Demaya, whose powers awoken at school and she almost killed a boy, and this man shows up to her house where she's been hiding in the barn for 3 weeks. Her parents know that she's there, but they don't want her in the house, and they kind of just banished her from the house as they waited for this man to come and take her away. She believes that the man is there to kill her. He is tall, has black hair, and completely white eyes, and it turns out that he treats her with a lot of kindness, and he is her guardian. In this world, the origins that are discovered are assigned a guardian who is supposed to help them learn how to use their craft for the greater good. So she is being taken, presumably, to some sort of training facility by this man. We also are getting the perspective of a young woman named Sien. It looks like Sien herself is at some sort of training facility, but she is much more advanced in her training than Demaya is. And the book pretty much opens up with her being told that it is time for her to select a man to breed with. She is required to have sex with a man who is much more powerful than her in hopes that the 2 of them together will make some sort of great spawn. The man that she is supposed to mate with has 10 rings and she currently, I believe, has 4. And the amount of rings that you have will signify how well trained and potentially how powerful you are. I have to say that right away I liked Sien and I liked Demaya, and it's harder to get into enjoying Nasun, who is the mother looking for vengeance for her children, because she is clearly in a state of PTSD and is just in like a complete stage of anger and agony. Now that I understand all of that, I am enjoying the book quite a bit. My plan today is to continue reading both of these books. I will complete this one today and give you my final thoughts. I do have to work in like 2 hours until night, so you probably won't see me until nighttime. But before I go back to reading, do you want to see Raven play catch? If you've been watching my videos, you've probably seen how Raven hunts and terrorizes me every single day of my life. But the one time I get to have fun and enjoy my cat is when she decides she would like to play fetch. So I will throw tennis balls and she will chase them around the house, and sometimes she will pick up the tennis ball by the fuzz and carry it back to me so that I can throw it again. I don't know if we're gonna see her do that in this video, but she's constantly carrying things throughout the house. Balls of aluminum foil, socks, toys, my dignity. Do you want the ball, Raven? Oh, so you're just gonna sit there and wait for me to throw it, huh? So in this book, there are 7 common use casts, and I just found out about the innovators. According to the glossary, the innovators are individuals selected for their creativity and applied intelligence, reasonable for technical and logistical problem solving during a season. That's cool. Raven's just sitting here staring at me nefariously. She loves me. Ow. How you just gonna stand on my hand? Oh, hell no. So I just found out about We Read Too, which is a directory of diverse books created by a young black girl named Kaya Thomas. It features children's books and young adult books of all genres. It has a synopsis, the cover, everything. It's amazingly accessible. You can download it on iOS. I just downloaded it and there's so many materials on it. You guys have to go get it right now, especially if you're participating in Blackathon. Hey y'all, I just got back from work and I have had an ear-splitting headache for about 5 hours, so I don't think I'm going to be able to continue reading for the rest of the night. I'm just going to turn in early and go to bed, but I did read halfway through the 5th season. I didn't read any more of the Everlasting Rose. With every page that I turn, I fall more and more in love with the 5th season. This is some complex world building, and the writing style is the exact opposite of flowery, so if you're one of those people that don't enjoy lyrical or ostentatious writing, this is a fantasy you definitely might enjoy. It's very much an adult fantasy and covers a lot of really heavy topics such as violence against children, children being used for societal purposes and nothing more, etc. I'm in love with the art of erogyny. Also, I enjoy that the communities each have mythology that they share. One of my favorite things about fantasy books is when a city or a community or a culture has mythology within the story that they then share with the reader. It's literally one of my favorite things about reading fantasy. Today I'm going to be shouting out Jania Carter from TBG Reads. If you look for booktubers who don't fit the mold, Jania is definitely one of them. She doesn't have a bookshelf background and she mainly does single book reviews, meaning that she'll do a video and dedicate that single video to an entire book. And the books that she reviews are all pretty different from one another. She's reviewed The Little Prince, If Beale Street Could Talk, and she really dissects and spends a lot of time talking about the pros and cons and the themes of each of these reads. On top of that, she's just really, really sweet, and she's committed to reading diversely all year round. If you're enjoying Blackathon, or if you just want more diversity in your reads, if you're just dedicated to being persistent about reading perspectives from people of color, she would be an awesome person to subscribe to because they're constantly going to have recommendations throughout the year. And when the time comes to read diversely, you won't have to be so intentional about seeking out books that are diverse because you'll already have been given really cool recommendations by Jania that you've been wanting to read for a while. That being said, for myself, throughout the course of Blackathon, which it's only been like 6 days, my enjoyment, my excitement, and the level of fulfillment I've experienced while reading has gone up 300%. I don't know if this has happened for anyone else. I can only speak for myself as a Black individual, but I've gone my whole life without either having access to Black stories or seeking out Black stories. I just got used to never seeing myself in books and I just stopped looking for it. And now that I'm actually looking for it and being intentional, I'm connecting to books in ways that I never thought I would connect to. Like I never thought I would be able to find books with people that looked like me and see my culture represented in a story that isn't just about my culture, if that makes sense. Like with the Poet X, I loved that I got to see my own Latinx culture represented in her narrative, but her narrative wasn't only about being Latinx. It was about her coming of age as a girl and also her love for spoken word. Like, it was about so much more than that. But I'm getting off topic and I need to get my sick ass to bed, so here is Jania.
Hey guys, it's TBG Reads, This Brown Girl Reads. My favorite genre is YA sci-fi, but on my channel I like to be more broad and focus on contemporary poetry, nonfiction, and YA so that I can focus on issues that the books are bringing to point. A wacky fact about me is that a few years ago I lived in Japan, and one morning at 8 a.m. in the morning, the Japanese police rang my bell, and I had to ride in the Japanese police car and pick up my bike because I had illegally parked it. I have a lot of weird stories about Japan. One book I recommend that I think everyone should read is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. It's a great thriller. It's YA, and I think it touches on some issues that are happening right now in America. And lastly, my favorite book at the moment that I recently finished is Pride by E.B. Savoy. It's set in Brooklyn, so it's about New York, and I'm a New Yorker. It talks about gentrification, and it talks about the different types of blackness. So whenever you get the chance, I hope you guys check out my channel.